Hey loves, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today guys, I'll be checking out this interesting video and it's titled Michael Knowles' most triggering college speeches. You guys, I'm super excited for this. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please consider subscribing. Give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share and all that good stuff. And without much ado, let's see what this video is all about.
There are people in the back of the room who have put tape over their mouths as though they've been censored, as though they're not able to speak. So I just like to take the opportunity. Nobody is stopping you from speaking. We're actually inviting you to speak. If anybody would like to come up and ask a question, now's your opportunity. You can cut the entire line. I think we got my answer. Okay.
I'm faculty here. I also support our protester in the back.
What do you support specifically? Do you think that anti-immigrant rhetoric is violent free speech?
Well, yes, because of the reasons
You think that
I'm
speech is
about.
violence?
No, I think that
That's what that sign says.
The conversation that you're having is oppressive.
So I am oppressing people by what I'm doing. So I am exerting violence on people by my speech. That's what the sign says, and that's what you just said.
It contributes to.
And the protester is saying that's exactly what I'm doing, and she's saying that's exactly what her sign means. So that means that you, a faculty member at an American public university, paid for by taxpayer dollars, are conflating speech with violence.
Yes. Speech can be violent. What you are saying contributes to systemic racism in this country. It means that my students of color are pulled over and accused of stealing a car when they did not.
I'm not pulling anybody over for stealing any cars. I see many people of many different races in this room. They all seem to be doing just fine. I don't think any of them have felt violence because they listened to a lecture on basic facts about our immigration system. The question was, have I asked people in this room if they've felt as though some violence has been committed on them? No, I haven't asked, because no violence has been committed on you. Because violence is not a subjective feeling. Violence is an objective fact. And I would say to you, as a faculty member at a taxpayer-funded university, this is the foundation of liberal education. If you cannot understand that there is a difference between speech and violence, you don't understand anything that undergirds the liberal arts or liberal education. And that is a real shame. And I say this with all respect and with great distress for our universities. If our teachers don't understand the difference between ideas and violence, between speech and violence, then they are in no position to educate the next generation of Americans. I was asked to give a speech in defense of George Washington.
Exactly.
At George Washington University.
That's a fact.
George Washington, one of the greatest men who ever lived, and specifically in this case, George the Colonial, who is the mascot of GW, as well as all of those colonials who gave this world and gave all of us this great nation. I think ignorance plays a major role here in the effort to get rid of GW's colonial mascot and moniker, George himself. The activists make a number of mistakes, not merely in their logic, but even in their grasp of basic facts. The first of which is to whom the word colonials refers. The colonials that the mascot represents were not defenders of colonialism. In fact, they were the opposite of defenders of colonialism. They fought a bloody war, they risked their lives to end colonialism in America and to end rule in Great Britain. They wanted their political independence.
You fascist! Shame! 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 Shame!
Oh, these kids are really proving me wrong. You see, because my premise was that these students are ignorant and not well behaved. But they're proving me wrong tonight. They called me a fascist for defending George Washington. Behold your country, leftists.
I'm for more of a mixed economy, and I am for...
You guys, what are your thoughts on this video? This is very, very interesting. Sometimes I'm just in total amusement about how uneducated these college students are, because I wonder what kind of education they are getting in these colleges. If their lecturers cannot differentiate between free speech and violence, then They don't have any reason to be in a classroom with this student. But let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section down below, and let's continue watching, you guys.
Medicare for all. I believe.
Doesn't that seems awful? It seems like you want to become an old person. Why do you want to become an old person?
No,
why do you want to use old ideas like socialism?
No, that's giving everyone the right to health insurance. And right now, our current system, we have 600,000 bankruptcies. People file for bankruptcy under our current system. Our current system is not cost effective. It cost,
I agree.
what was $33 trillion over a 10-year period from right now. And a recent study by the Mercatus Center actually found that the Medicare for All system in the Senate would save $2.1 trillion over a 10-year period from 2022 to 2031. So why can't you get behind that?
Well, when we were talking about the costs of these systems, one has to be very careful. I was promised certain costs for Obamacare, and there was a lot of fuzzy math because the taxes kicked in early and the benefits didn't kick in quite so early. So the question is twofold. One, you're asking economically, you're saying that the current healthcare regime is not efficient, and therefore the socialist regime would be more efficient. That may actually be the case. That's not an argument for socialism, though. That's an argument for liberalization. That's for liberalizing the markets, making prices much more apparent to both the consumers and the service providers, to opening up what are now virtual monopolies for health insurance companies. And fortunately, by the way, this administration has, around the edges, worked on all of those things. There is also a moral argument as well, which is that people ought to be free, man ought to be free, and if healthcare is going to have to be rationed, I would rather it be rationed by me and my freedom of choice than by some bureaucratic board somewhere in the federal government. If the United States stops leading the way in healthcare, you're going to see that affect global markets and global healthcare regimes all around the world, and it'll be a very bad thing. And that is the reason that people, when they actually want care, living in Cuba, living in Canada, living in the United States, when even their private insurance that they're forced to buy doesn't cover, that's why they come to the United States, because we're the leaders.
We already ration care by the size of our wallets.
We ought to ration care by the size of our wallets?
We already ration our care by the size of our wallets.
Of course we don't. We have a robust social safety net. We have Medicare and Medicaid. We have a very generous social safety net, and nobody dies. I mean, it's one of the most absurd lies of people pushing socialist healthcare that people are dying in the streets. That's absurd. Anybody can walk into an emergency room. Nobody is dying in the streets in the United States and hasn't in the modern era.
Tens of thousands of people are dying in the U.S.
You can keep repeating your lie, but it doesn't make it true. Show me the person who is denied entrance to an emergency room, my friend. Show me the person. I haven't seen them.
Hey, I'm for facts over feelings.
You can repeat good slogans as well as bad slogans, but they remain slogans nonetheless. And I'm explaining to you the way the healthcare regime actually works.
This creates ever-multiplying victim groups, false victim groups like these people. This creates ever-multiplying racial victims. I know, you're so oppressed, my dears. I know, life is so hard for you. You have to live in the richest, most equitable, most just country in the history of the world. You have to get a college education. You have to voluntarily go to lectures. It's so awful. I can't imagine. The people who are in war-torn nations, they must truly pity you. Goodbye then. Well, it's very difficult to use my platform when people use the heckler's veto to try to shut up any opinion that disagrees. I didn't think I was this intimidated. I believe that gentleman just threw paint on me. I gotta tell you, folks, I knew that this totally common sense statement was controversial. I didn't know it was this controversial. You're trying to teach me with your fists. Thank you. That's the same lesson that Mussolini was teaching people. You ridiculous fascists. You ridiculous, silly fascists.
I don't know that this was going to escalate into violence, and I didn't see anything wrong in what Michael Knowles was saying on that stage, because most of these college students, They don't want to hear the truth about how privileged, how fortunate they are to be American citizens, because somewhere else in the world, some people are going through war, and the only thing they care about right now is how to survive. And here these privileged kids are throwing tantrums over the fact that they have to go to college. But let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section down below. This is very, very interesting, and I'm enjoying every minute of this video. And you guys, let's continue watching.
Goodness gracious. How am I ever going to get the glitter paint out of my clothing? Maybe it looks good, I don't know. How is this guy still in this lecture hall? How is this guy still in this university? It is outrageous. By the way, if these people are not expelled from this university, that is a scandal for the University of Missouri. It would be an absolute outrage if these people are not expelled from this university for acts of violence to protest the most common sense statement that I could possibly make, which is that men are not women. Imagine if I said something controversial here tonight. Imagine the reaction then.
So my question is, I'm just not really sure what's the downside of converting our energy system towards more green energy, such as wind power and solar power. To me, the idea of moving in a more sustainable direction for our energy our production is just more about creating jobs that produces a lack of reliance on oil and things that are inherently non-renewable and foreign exports.
So if you got rid of just the oil industry, if you just got rid of the energy industry that the Green New Deal seeks to get rid of, you would immediately destroy 5.8 million jobs. Those are just jobs relating directly to that energy sector. Obviously, there are a zillion jobs downstream of that. And obviously, if you kill off 88% of American energy, you don't just kill off 5.8 million jobs, you kill off virtually all of the jobs. Why not convert to some hypothetical, clean, wonderful avatar energy source? Show me the energy source that could provide American energy. You talk about how we have reliance on foreign fuels. We found that biggest oil deposit ever in 2016. We're the biggest producer in the world. This is a wonderful thing. This is something that we should embrace. This idea of scarcity is a fiction. This idea that we're just depleting our resources and they'll all be gone in 15 years. The question you asked is, what is the downside of killing off 88% of the American economy? Outlawing, you asked it and I'm relating it to the Green New Deal. Of outlawing gas-powered cars within 10 years, of outlawing jet fuel-powered jets within 10 years, of knocking down and rebuilding all the buildings within 10 years. What's the downside of spending $93 trillion, 80% marginal tax rates, killing American ingenuity, and then once you kill off all of the people who make all the jobs and who grow our economy, then you just start printing money, making the global reserve currency, I don't know, like the paper in Venezuela. What's the downside of that? What's the upside of that?
You guys, that was such an interesting one from Michael Knowles. Let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section down below. It was really interesting. And I hope that most of these college students get to learn one or two things from what Michael Knowles has taught them in this debate. I really had fun with this particular video, and I believe you guys also enjoyed watching. If you did enjoy watching, give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.